Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cathedral Check-In. My name is Jonathan Brower. I'm the Communications Coordinator, and I am here with special guest Kate Newman, the Coordinator of Children, Youth, and Family Ministries. Hi, Kate.
Hey, nice to see you.
You too. We just want to take this moment to acknowledge that we live, worship, play, and work on the ancestral lands of the Lekwungen-speaking peoples, the Songhees and the Esquimalt nations. So today, for the Cathedral Check-In, we are going to be talking all things theology on tap. So, Kate, can you tell us a little bit, for those who aren't familiar with Theology on Tap, how it functioned in the past and how it functions now, and what your involvement is with it?
Well, theology on tap is something that's probably takes place in the whole continent of North America. It's a very popular concept. I think it began in Chicago, although I'm not sure. And it's the idea of talking theology in pubs or even bars with a pint. And we started our theology on tap. We were sort of roving in different restaurants in Victoria. And then when COVID hit, we went online. And so we do Theology on Tap every second Wednesday at 6 o'clock on Zoom.
Okay. Or is it once a month?
Every month. Yeah, every month.
Okay. I wish it was every second
I
Wednesday.
know, me too. Yes,
Weird,
every month,
right?
every second Wednesday at 6 o'clock on Zoom.
Great, great. So, can you tell me about some of the highlights from Theology on Tap over the last year? Because I know it's all been online, and there's been a couple sessions that have been really well attended.
Yeah, we've had some great response. Our best attended was last Theology on Tap, and I know we're going to talk about that in a little bit. So I'll save that title and create some buzz. Our second best attended, it's a bit of a competition. We're not really sure which one it was God is Black, and that was during the height of the Black Lives Matter movement, which of course is still continuing. And that was Reverend Dr. John Thatamanol talking about James Cone's insights into theology and divinity. We've had recently reverential naturalism with the sociologist of religion, Dr. Paul Bramadot, who's part of the Center for the Studies of Religion and Society. He's actually director of it at UVic. We recently had the Reverend Dr. Martin Brokenleg talk about his experience as an Indigenous person and the ramifications of the residential schools in Canada with What a Lovely Canadian Crucifix. And then this last week, our very well attended What Do We Mean When We Say We Are 2SLGBTQIA plus inclusive? And that was for Pi Day, National Affirming Day. And that was hosted. I am always the host, but there's a speaker. So it was hosted by me, but it was the speaker was the Very Reverend Peter Elliott.
Amazing, amazing. And you mentioned Pi Day. So Pi is National Affirming Day, which was celebrated on March 14th, and it's a really cool initiative that was started, interesting enough, by the United Church, and has now
Yes,
become sort of it's being celebrated all over with any church that is affirming. So.
that's right. There's a great history of Anglicans and United churches just speaking with each other and dialoguing and challenging each other in different ways. So it's pretty cool.
It's awesome. So out of that really cool, well-attended session, can you speak to some of the highlights that happened that evening?
For sure. I think the big takeaway is that support for 2SIA LGBTQ plus is really strong and grounded in this community. Right now, we're looking at a community of people who have a long history of representation in the cathedral and in surrounding sister churches like St. John the Divine. This is definitely like a garden that's ready to bloom. And we're expressing, in many ways, I heard that at our last session, a welcoming spirit for families who express themselves for who they really are in whatever way that may be, in different ways, and in expressing themselves as members of 2SIA LGBTQ2+, in all ways, and however that looks for them. I think in many ways we are considering the ever changing landscape of how we use words, which affects our understanding of who we are and what we are becoming. So we talked a lot about pronouns and about changing the way that we think about others and how words affect our hearts and our minds. And especially as we were led by the amazing, the Very Reverend Peter Elliott, who's long been a leader in the fight for justice and acceptance in this community. We began to understand the emerging sort of realization of what we've been taught to be and what we really are. And we're starting to understand and dissect the effect of culture on who we are, and realizing that we are called to become, and in many ways created to become, who we really are. So, yeah, it's a journey of welcoming, really, but it's also, I would say, a journey of self-reflection, because I think, especially with this Theology on Tap, we thought about inviting ourselves and practicing the reality of considering our own behavior. And when we consider what we do, then we begin to discover who we are. And when we know why we do what we do, then we can start to think about who we really are.
I love that, and why we say what we are and the way that we represent ourselves. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I feel like a lot of people listening are wishing that they could have attended. But we do, so it is by RSVP to attend these sessions, correct? Can you tell us a little bit about how that works?
Yeah, so we start to advertise a little bit closer to the date, so probably about 3 weeks lead in. We come up with the title, we put it on a poster, and that poster says RSVP. And that's just my way of making sure I know sort of who's in the community so that I can welcome people. I know who you are. I can address any potential tech issues to the best of my ability. I won't be able to solve them all, but just give that little extra help if it's needed, and answer any questions and have a chance to sort of let people know just sort of the tone of the community. Our next event, we are so pleased on May 11th to be welcoming Elizabeth May. And that's going to be, again, via Zoom, 6 o'clock online, May 11th. And then after that, we are, again, so blessed to have Dr. Ray Aldred, Director of Indigenous Studies at VST, and that'll be in the second Wednesday in June.
That's fantastic. Those are both amazing speakers. And I think a lot of us didn't know until recently that Elizabeth May has an MDiv. So that matches theology, which is very cool.
Absolutely.
So anyone watching, you can RSVP in advance if you like to these sessions, but we will have these announced in the e-newsletter and on Facebook and on our social media channels, as well as the website. So we welcome you to join Theology on Tap. And Kate, can I say this? Do we invite people to bring their own beer on or wine or whatever they would like to drink as part of the call?
Yeah, beer, wine, tea, and water are also encouraged, whatever works for you.
Many different taps, but all the same experience, community experience. So, excellent. Well, Kate, I want to thank you for your time and for sharing about Theology on Tap. And we will look forward to more of your work and chatting with you again.
Okay. Peace, and thank you so much.
Peace. Thanks.
Bye.